It's a Uwe Boll joint. So yeah, I finally watched House of the Dead. I've been wanting to watch this movie for forever now. I've always been curious. It was infamously panned and shit talked about nonstop when it came out. This was released theatrically, and I'll tell you right now, this is not a bad movie at all. I actually thought it was pretty good for like a video game adaptation, especially at the time. The first like couple of minutes, it's like really great. It starts with a shot of this guy, like he's alone and he's like giving this voiceover, and like throughout the movie, there's like kind of what people could perceive as like bad ADR or voiceover or whatever, but the cadence of it sounds a lot like the House of the Dead games, the voice acting in those. So it felt kind of true to me. And he's talking about like, oh, everyone, I came here for a rave, and everyone's dead. And then it cuts to like this credit sequence where it's like they put like a little like cartoon filter on some footage of House of the Dead. I think 1 through 3 is shown in the game, which is pretty cool. It's got like this fake fire starter song in the background. So he's giving this narration basically, and he's introducing the characters. He basically invited 5 of his friends to come to this island to have a rave, or to like hang out with him at a rave. It's this these 2 guys, a super hot redhead chick, a black chick, and some dumb white bitch. And they're like, they missed the real boat to get to the island, so they have to like find some bootleg guy to take them, and they run into Clint Howard. He's in this yellow fisherman outfit. It's like the fish sticks guy, Gordon, Captain Gordon's or whatever. And the actual captain of the ship is Jurgen Prochnow, who I mostly famously known for Beer Fest. He's the grandpa. He's like training them to drink beer. He's like schlucken, schlucken, schlucken. And Will Forte's like, what is it, Grandpapa?
What is it, Grandpapa?
So he's actually pretty good. There's some recognizable people in this movie. Oh, and as that's going on, it cuts to a shot of like the people at the actual rave, and there's like a chick dancing on the stage, and there's a SEGA banner in the background, and I was like, oh shit, that's tight. She's actually like one of the characters that shows up later. She's this Asian chick. She's dressed like Candy Sucks in Vice City. Her name's Liberty. There's a generous amount of titties in this movie, especially at the beginning, so that's nice. And like there's like some kind of repeated scenes where like these people are gonna like go fuck near the beach or whatever, and she like goes skinny dipping, and there's like some Jaws underwater shots, and the guy's like, oh, it's too cold to go in there, babe. So he just lays there, and like somehow he gets snatched off. You don't even see it. Somehow she misses it. And so yeah, when the actual group is going to the island, there's a funny scene where they try to warn them that the island's like fucked. It's called Isla de Muerte, like Jurassic Park.
Las Cinco Muertes.
So Clint Howard's like worried about them, and they're on the boat, and one of the guys that's with the white bitch, he like gets seasick and throws up on her. So she goes into the cabin, and like she's got her top off and she's cleaning herself off, and the Clint Howard comes in there and he wants to give her like a cross to like protect her. She's like, "Did you get a good look, perv?" And then he leaves, and she's like, "Thanks, Gandalf." That's so funny. Oh yeah, and as they're leaving the island, like the fucking cops come and they want to like search the boat, so they kind of just take off. And it's these two officers. One of them's a lady, and I thought she kind of looked familiar. She plays the final girl in Halloween 4. I was like, whoa, that was cool. So they're chasing them right to the island, and then when they get there, like, there's no one on the island and shit. Everyone's gone. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Like I said, the scene where the chick's skinny dipping. There's like another scene just like that where this couple's like about to have sex, and it's funny because the guy's like on top of her and she's like pushing his head down to go down on her, and he's like, "Slow down, babe." But anyway, like the chick that was skinny dipping, she like runs into a abandoned like house with some gravestones in front of it, and she goes in there and she gets eaten. So I guess that's the house of the dead in this movie. It's like a little tiny shack. And yeah, the zombies that eat her actually look pretty cool. They got like red eyes and shit. Pretty much the majority of the zombies in this movie actually look decent. And there's like some decent like head explosions and gore and shit. And then yeah, like I said, they go to the rave and everything's all destroyed and there's no one around, and the guys like they don't think anything's wrong. Just start drinking beer and shit. So eventually they decide to split up. Yeah, cause like the white bitch and her boyfriend are like making out in front of everyone. So they stay there and the other three split up to go look around. And like while all this is happening, like Clint Howard's getting fucked up in the woods, and Jurgen Prochnow on his boat, and he's like just looking around. There's shots of him just looking around. Eventually, like zombies attack him, and he starts shooting them. And then, like at the end of him shooting them, he's just standing there looking around again, which is funny. And then, of course, yeah, the white bitch and the dude, they're like about to fuck in the tent, and he has to pee or whatever. And she like insults him. Oh yeah, she's like, what if the others come back while we're doing it? And he's like, I'll be quick. Like, oh, you have that problem. But he basically just has to go pee, and he leaves her there, and like some zombies come, you see their shadows in the tent. But like you don't actually see them eat people a lot. Maybe they kind of just crowd around them where it just cuts away. So yeah, the other three, they find the house and they go in there and there's people in there. It's the dude from the beginning that they know, their friend, Liberty chick, and the fat Ethan Hawke guy. And he like plays them a video of everyone dying and shit, and they're still like, what the fuck? They don't believe it, I guess. The redhead chick especially, like at first she's like, something's gotta be up, right? There's no one here. And then when she sees evidence, she's like, nah, it's just a fucking prank or whatever. So they all team up to go back to the friends that they left behind, right? And they're all gone, of course. And they see like something moving in a porta potty, and it's the dude. I guess he got stuck in there. He's got like shit all over him. And it's funny because he's wearing like an overshirt that he could just take off, but he doesn't take it off. So he just has shit all over him the whole time. And they make some obvious, you're in deep shit now, or jokes or whatever. And then yeah, the white bitch, she like reanimates and she fucking goes after the dude. Oh yeah, she goes after the fat Ethan Hawke and just like snaps his neck. So I guess like the zombies have like super strength. And then like the lady cop comes out of nowhere and fucking blasts her. Her legs go flying in there and shit. So yeah, at that point everyone's together and they're all gonna go back to Jurgen Prochnow's boat. And they get chased by zombies, of course. And the boat's like too far off, so they can't go over there. And then all of a sudden he's like behind them somehow, and he like helps them shoot off the zombies. But like one guy, he just like, as soon as he gets there, he just dives headfirst into the water and tries to get on the boat. Even though there's clearly zombies in there. Oh yeah, and they're also being stalked by like a shadowy figure, dude in a cloak, with some scars on his face. But yeah, with the dude that jumps in the water, there's actually some pretty good like underwater shots of him struggling with the zombies and like them shooting into the water at the zombies. They fend off the zombies and they have like a little breather moment. And Jurgen spits out some exposition about what he knows about, what's going on the island. And apparently, like some old Spanish dude was like experimenting on people or whatever and reanimating them, and they like banished them. And so you see like a shot of a pirate ship, and it's all like sepia tone. And then this guy comes in there. He's like, "Come closer." He's like, "I will never die." And then he fucking just kills the fat guy. The fat Napoleon guy. So yeah, they follow Jurgen Prognell. He's got like a stash of some stuff. He's like a smuggler. Because that's what Clint Howard was doing. He was like unloading the shit. I guess they're gonna come back for it later. And that's how he died. But he's got like a bunch of guns and shit in there. So they all load up. And what follows is like the best sequence of the movie. And it's like fairly impressive with some of the shots in it. And yeah, they're like loaded up and they're gonna go fortify themselves in that house. So they're being chased by zombies and they go towards the house. And oh yeah, I forgot like the redhead chick, she progressively has like less clothes and looks hotter. She puts her hair up somewhere. But yeah, so they go towards the house and there's this pretty cool shot of like all of them, they're kind of lined up with their guns and shit and they're kind of shooting towards the camera in slow-mo, which is interesting. And there's also like a bunch of these like shots where they're like kind of static and it's like rotating around them. It kind of reminds me of Hackers at the end when like they're doing the hacking and shit and like they're in a phone booth with or whatever and the camera's like circling around them. Yeah, everyone gets like one of those shots, but like the best, I guess like the most like ambitious shot they try to do was they had some CG and it's like the redhead chick and she's shooting at a zombie that's got like an axe and he's throwing the axe at her and she like jumps in the air to meet the axe coming at her and she shoots him with the shotgun and you see all the CG pellets like go at him and blow him up. It was pretty cool actually, even though it's dumb as fuck. And it's like constantly cutting in between footage of the games and shit, which is cool. So yeah, they can't actually get into the house, so the cop and the main guy, they have to go take another way. And they try and go in this window and he jumps in first and he's trying to pull the cop in and like the zombies are like hacking your legs off with with the axe and shit. And so she's just laying there with some nubs. And then yeah, at this point the pacing kind of dies a little bit. Like they're trying to nurse Jurgen back to health and the hot redhead chick finds a book that like confirms the tales, I guess, of the Spanish guy. But it's funny because the book is like blank. You can see it. There's nothing written on it. And everyone starts making out with each other because they're all stressed, I guess. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I don't know if I did, the guy that plays the main guy, he's in that movie Goon with Sean William Scott, the hockey movie. He has this funny scene where he says something like, because Sean William Scott's like new to the team, and he's like, "I only got 2 rules," because he's like French Canadian or Canadian or some shit, and he's like, "One, what does he say? Oh yeah, he's like, rule number 1, don't touch my Percocets, and rule number 2, do you have any Percocets?"
Hi, I'm Doug Ladd. 2 rules, man. Stay away from my fucking Percocets, and do you have any fucking Percocets, man? All right. Okay.
And then yeah, after that, like, Jurgen tells him to fuck off and go explore the house some more, the little tiny house, and he like goes outside to sacrifice himself and kill Clint Howard for good. And so yeah, they basically find like this underground laboratory or whatever, There's like beakers and flasks and shit, and some zombies laying around that aren't moving. And the guy looks in the microscope and he's like, it's blood. It's mutated. Like, he knows what that would look like somehow. Like, all these zombies come and the black chick's like, oh, I'll handle this. And she starts like doing karate and shit. Until they all just crowd around her. And she dies. And then it kind of like turns into Resident Evil 4. The way it looks. Like some dude in a cloak with a sword like helps them. He like stabs some zombies for them. And he's wearing like, they think it's one of their friends from earlier in the movie. But it's just the original Spanish dude, and he's like wearing his skin mask. And he basically just wants to use their body parts or whatever. He like comes up next to the hot chick and like licks her tongue, licks her ear and shit. And he's like, "You have beautiful skin." The main guy, he just starts busting out of the table that he's on. The fucking undead conquistadors can't hold him. And she like grabs a sword and stabs the dude. Oh yeah, there's another CGI shot where like he has like a cup of the blood or whatever, and I guess when it hits a regular zombie, it like makes them melt. So he like throws the blood on this zombie, and like part of his cheek starts disintegrating or whatever. So they escape the little dungeon area, and she like throws a grenade down there, and it's like a slow motion shot of them like running away from the explosion, and it's like you see her titties bouncing and shit. So she has a sword, and he like mentioned earlier, like at the very beginning of the movie in the voiceover, that she was into fencing, and he was like, whatever that's good for. And they basically just have like a little sword fight there. More of the like spinning around shots. And like Matrix dodges and shit. But I mean, visually it's not bad, like it's interesting, you know. But yeah, he like fights them both off and shit. And then at one point he like stabs her like right in between the titties. And the other guy gets up and cuts his head off with the sword. But the body's like still alive, so it's attacking him. And somehow she can like get up and walk, and she goes over to his head and stomps on it. And she's like, game over, fucker. You're terminated, fucker. And then the ending is pretty sweet. It's just like a helicopter comes down and it says AMS on the side, and these two agents come out, and I was like, oh shit. And the guy talks, and he's like, Agent G and I are here to check shit out. And they go up to the guy, and he's like carrying the chick. I guess she's alive somehow. They ask him what his name is, and he's like, it's Rudolph. And they go, got a last name? And he's like, it's Curian. And it's like, oh, so what does this mean? That he like was in on the whole thing the whole time, and he knew about the immortal blood and shit, and the Spanish guy? Or he like comes back later and gets that research and has a mansion and shit? I don't know. Cause yeah, his final narration, he's like, I feel bad about what happened, but you know, it's what you do for love. But like, I don't know, how did he know that she was gonna die? And he needed to have some zombie blood. I don't know, they try and tease it like a sequel or some shit. And then it rolls to credits, and there's a fucking awesome bootleg Rage Against the Machine song at the end.
So I unleash the wrath of a lyrical bloodbath. Fear in their
So yeah, it's definitely not great, and like it's kind of a pain having to go back and do a review. But I've been wanting to watch this. And I wanted to talk about it. So you know, it was a fun hour and a half. At least it was short. Good shit.